Hi, this is Rob from Ted Brown Music, and I'm here to talk to you about hand drums. I'm going to start out with the frame drum. It's a pretty basic setup, and it's basically just a piece of wood that's been curved around into a circle, and you have a head stretched over the top of it. After that, they've just, for the most common setup, they've just pinned it into the sides, basically stapled it in. One-time use kind of idea. If the head breaks, you're kind of out of luck on this one. A little bit less commonly seen, but still available, is a machine tunable setup. Definitely be a great way to go if you want to be able to change out your head, have some longevity for your instrument. Definitely a great way to go also if you want to be able to change your pitch to match up with different instruments or different players. Also, kind of an extravagant version of this where it's got the tambourine on the edge. Still same idea for the drum, but it's also going to give you the tambourine so you can really play around, open things up a bit. The next drum I'll talk to you about is pretty similar to these guys, the frame drum, but it's actually going to give you the tube on there. It's going to be called the tubano. It's definitely great for playing in a drum circle anytime you want to sit down, hang out, relax. It's not going to be quite as versatile as some of the hand drums out there, but it definitely will give you a lot of abilities to project and really just play along with people if you want to. Next drum I'll talk about is the doumbek. It's actually a goblet drum, pretty common style that you see people playing in drum circles and things like that. The difference with this guy compared to some of the other hand drums out there will be the way that the head actually has the edge showing around the side. This one here is going to be a more traditional Turkey style where it's from Turkey. So it doesn't have a rounded edge like you'd see on some of these, so it's a little bit better for getting what they call a popping noise out of there, real aggressive sound out of it. Definitely a very, very great sound out of it. These are definitely a little bit more for playing with fingers and doing rolls, things like that, and actually going to that curved edge side. That's where more popularly people would be doing the rolls, just because it's a little bit less painful on your fingers, really. So it's definitely a good way to go if you're trying to play that finger style. The next drum will be a pretty similar idea to that. Still a goblet drum. Be called the djembe. Definitely great because it's got a little bit heavier of a sound than the doumbek. Doumbek's a little bit lighter. This guy will definitely project a little bit more. You're going to be able to hear it over some of the other instruments in the drum circle. So it's definitely used for doing some of the lead work that you want to do, some solo work you might want to do, really standing out. Definitely has a range for sounds that it can make. You can do pops, you can definitely do different dooms, techs, becks. There's a lot of different sounds you can make with these guys, so it's a good way to go, like I said, if you want to stand out a little bit. The next drum I'll go to, it's one of my favorites to play around with. It's actually called the cuica. And this is used for some Latin music, things like that, sometimes some African music for kind of standing out a little bit. It has a strange squeaking noise to it. And the way it'd be played, you have a wet rag that you'd actually use, not wet, really damp. Damp is the better word for it. Damp rag that you'd use on the inside, where there's this little stick that actually is attached to the head, and it comes down perpendicularly through the drum. And you use that damp rag on there, and actually it will create a friction that creates that sound that you get. And then with your other hand, the way that you'd be set up is you'd be putting it on there to create different pressures, different sounds out of that head, so you can actually get a range of sounds from it. Thank you for listening. I'm Rob Campbell, and this is Ted Brown Music.